Hello, this video will be a detailed overview of Mariupol after war. It will be like addition to my documentary that I made a few weeks ago, and by the way, I really recommend you to watch it.
Today I'll show you all new buildings in Mariupol with the satellite images, answer some of your questions, show a lot of new or updated infrastructure objects, and I will also tell about city industry, economy and future perspectives. It took me a lot of efforts to make this video. I really tried to make it interesting and detailed, and if you want to support me and my work financially, links are in the description. I will start with the new apartment buildings that Russia has built here. There are two types of them: compensational buildings and buildings with apartments for sale. First I'll show compensational ones, built for people who lost their homes because of the war, and I will add satellite images of those buildings. The Nevsky district, a symbol of the new Russian Mariupol constructed by military builders. I showed it many times before. Dry kindergarten, a school for 1,500 children, and a medical center. I will return to these projects later in this video. And also there are a furniture store, a supermarket, a beauty salon and some other stores, which I showed in another video. The Nevsky district was officially finished this month. And by the way, not all apartments are free. Two recently built 5-floor buildings are for sale in a mortgage. The Emerald district nearby, 8 beautiful buildings. By the way, I took many footages of the new buildings from a Russian blogger Walk and Talk, because I recorded these places a few months ago, and now I have no time to record all of this again. And these buildings were the ones that Ukraine started to build more than 10 years ago. It was just a way for city administration to steal money. 2 years ago they looked like this, and now the first residents already have gotten new apartments as a compensation. These 3 buildings were built by the Voronezh region in just 2 months, really fast, and here I recorded my first video for this channel just to show the contrast between Mariupol before and Mariupol after. The most recent compensational buildings, also by Voronezh region, I can't even show the satellite images because they are outdated. The construction of this building has also begun with Ukraine, but then it also got frozen. Not a rare situation in Russia, but in Ukraine this happens to every project. One interesting thing about this new building is that it was completed in June 2023, and people got their apartment there only around this new year, 6 months later, because of the bureaucracy. Those were all compensational buildings. Now I'll show you buildings for sale. Local citizens have a preferential rate of 2% for a mortgage, but it's also for people from other Russian regions who want to live in Mariupol. Some people with brain issues in the comments started calling this colonization. With this logic, it can be said that Soviet Union colonized Moscow, St. Petersburg and other big cities by just developing them. But this video isn't about Russian colonization and other fakes, so now I'll show you new buildings for sale. The Leningradsky district, 4 high-rise buildings, typical new Russian buildings. I would like it much more if the prices for the apartments there weren't so high. Two mortgaged buildings in Nevsky, I already mentioned them today. The house with a clock, I really like how it looks like. It's built on the place where an old house with a clock stood before the fightings. A building on Nakhimova with a sea view. It looks awesome, but people that lived there before the war got compensational apartments in other places like Nevsky, which is very unfair. I mentioned this problem in my documentary. Around 5 more buildings for sale started to be constructed recently, but there is nothing to show yet. The repair of the damaged buildings is ongoing. Slightly damaged buildings are mostly repaired, and now Russia is rebuilding extremely damaged buildings, in some places by building them from the scratch. There were also cases when a building had to be demolished, but the decision was changed and the building was repaired. Many people are asking about the condition of these buildings on the inside. There are places where the apartment buildings are renovated on the outside, and inside they are burnt out. And Russia is working on it. 4,000 apartments will be repaired before 2025. And there are many recordings of these interiors on the Russian YouTube. Also, one of the popular questions is about the bad quality of repair works, because there were cases when cracks appeared on a new building or on a recently renovated column in the city park, or when basements in new building were flooded with canalization. And after these photos and videos became popular in the internet, in Telegram especially, problems were quickly fixed. Of course, dozens of buildings still have problems with the poor quality repairs, but they will be resolved in the future. I mean, 2 years ago the city was in ruins and now it's living. Russia promises to repair all the big apartment buildings this year. And then damaged or fixed buildings are getting new insulation and paint, so the city becomes more beautiful than it used to be before war. 500 facades will be updated during 2024. I have some videos about it, including a comparison between pre-war and current condition, so I will not focus on it now. Now let's move to the Russian projects in the Nevsky district. I showed them many times, but without the interior, so now I'll add videos from the Military Builders YouTube channel. This school for 1,100 children includes a lot of laboratories and workshops, computer classes, etc. Like everything else on Nevsky, it was built from the scratch. It was opened in September 2023, less than a year ago. The medical center here also opened. And the new kindergarten. But now let's return to the old Mariupol, because Nevsky is very small in comparison to the rest of the city. Energy network, canalization and heating system were completely replaced, because even if in some places it wasn't damaged, it was just too old because Ukraine didn't maintain most of the infrastructure since 1991. Now I want to show some objects that I didn't show in my documentary. Clinics were renovated both on the outside and on the inside. I'll show two of them. One of the fire departments, it has this street art on the wall. New ice arena that is being constructed near the Nakhimova Naval School. The Nakhimova Naval School, the biggest Russian project in Mariupol. In my documentary I showed more footage of it. I hope I will get the permission from the local administration to record it from inside when I'll have more time. There are also a lot of social objects, like the multifunctional center or the pension fund building. A lot of schools and kindergartens were renovated, and around 10 of them are being renovated right now. As I said before, with Ukraine all of them were grey and the same, and now Russia gives each one a unique design. Russia is also updating a lot of roads. I found these maps. This map shows roads updated in 2023, 72 kilometers, and this shows roads where works were ongoing this April. In total, about 30 kilometers of roads will be repaired this year. 5 bridges were repaired and 2 will be repaired this year. Recently, first trains on the railway were launched from the port. Now Mariupol is only connected to Volnovakha, and Russia will connect it with other Russian cities and with Crimea. This will make it easier getting to other cities and also will improve military logistics. And this is how the Mariupol train station is looking now. Now let's talk about the economy of Mariupol. Before the war, there were two main sources of income for the city, the industry and the biggest port in the Azov Sea. The port resumed its work almost immediately after the liberation in summer 2022. And the situation with the industry is much worse. There were three big steel plants, Ilicha, Azovstal and Azovmash. Azovstal is the most known one because during the fightings it served as a shelter for Nazis. It can't be repaired, so it will be demolished and the technopark will be constructed on its spot. Ilicha is the biggest steel plant in Mariupol, and a few months ago it partially resumed its work. The city administration is going to restore it completely. Azovmash will also be back to work. A part of it, Azov Elektrostal, is already working. Russia assumes that by 2035, about 68,000 people in Mariupol will work in the industry. But the main source of income for Mariupol will be tourism. Mariupol was never a tourist city because of the very polluted ecology, but now, after Azovstal, the main source of pollution was destroyed, ecology is improving, even dolphins returned here last summer. And as you can see, Russia is making an improvement to all beaches in Mariupol. New sidewalks, toilets, first aid stations. Mariupol will become a resort for people from all over Russia. I also want to mention a lot of the schemes of the future developments of Mariupol and the cities and villages nearby. You can find them on the official DPR website. And Russian investors considering many interesting projects. Maybe in the future I'll make a video about these plans and projects. But that was all for today. I didn't show even half of the projects that are being done here. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to remind you once more that this channel is funded only by you. So if you want to support me, links are in the description.